Hello, my unwitting accountability buddies. How's everybody doing? Got to a point that I need to figure out what project I want to work on next. I was hoping like this last weekend that I would get much further and stuff, but fun came up. So I opted to go out and have the fun all weekend, but that does mean I was less productive in the realm of finishing projects. So, so my debate right now is I have a sweater that I just need to finish doing sleeves on, but I just finished sleeves on that blue sweater, and I'm not sure if I want to, even if it is the stuff, the fun stitching from this book, which I adore this book. And I am ready to get into something a little bit more challenging again, but I don't think that my brain is right there yet. And then the other thing I was debating on, and I know this looks challenging, but it's really not, but it is a crochet top. I've got like the front top done down to where I would attach the sleeve, and then I'm working on the back. Anyways, I do have another flight coming up soon, and it's an all the way across the country flight, and then like 2-week road trip down to the south. And I think this is so tiny, lightweight, and easy that I think I'll save that for that trip. Even though I was like, oh, I want to use that as an excuse to start another project, but let's be real. I don't need an excuse to start another project. This is all self-imposed. I can do what I want. So, yeah. Oh, why does my hair look so messy? Why does my hair look so messy? Oh. Anyways, so I think what I might be settling on as I'm sitting here talking is one of the perpetual projects. I've shown this before. It's the perpetual neon blanket that I'm making into grandmother's flower garden. So let's see. And part of me is not sure if I want to do this because it feels like a bit of a cop-out. Oh, I need to do the center on this one. It feels like a bit of a cop-out doing this because the project is not going to get done anytime soon. Oh, it looks like I need some more on this one, right? So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Actually, no, we'll not see. We'll just make progress on this. So what I have right now is I need to do a center of this one. It looks like I need to do, what, 2 more, 6? 2 more on this one. I've got this one completed. I've got this one completed. So I'm going to finish these, hopefully get another neon one started. I'm not sure if I'm going to have another neon to do a complete flower, but I did get some like blacks that I can use to fill these in. And then in between and for the centers, I have all sorts of bright colors, including this one. So, yeah. And then this, I know I showed before, I found it at a thrift store. Let's see, white tag, it says $2.99. So it had like another skein here. I believe this partial skein is from that. And then I don't know, even looks like I'll be taking apart someone's blanket, which I know makes some people mad. Yeah. Look at this. This was someone else's blanket that was donated to a thrift store. Last time I pulled apart someone's blanket to recycle the yarn that I'd found in a thrift store, and it was just a super simple blanket. Like, it was made of Caron yarn. I got like 5 skeins of Caron yarn out of it. All it was a solid like teal, maybe a little bit darker than this. And all they had done was double crochet back and forth. And that was it. There was nothing fancy about this. This was obviously someone's beginner blanket. And when I showed a video of me, it's definitely not on here, but it was on Instagram. One of the reasons why I decided to walk away from Instagram. People were so mad at me. The comments were anywhere from, how dare you pull apart someone's hard work. It was someone's beginner project from the looks of it, no big deal. And they gave it to a thrift store, to the poor kids doing slave labor in China. And it's like, but I'm recycling the yarn. And I don't even know where Karen is made, Indonesia, China, wherever, right? Like, yes, it is overseas. Yes, it is mass produced, so it is done by underpaid people, right? But me recycling that yarn, I felt that I wasn't buying new skeins of yarn, and so it wouldn't be an issue, right? This is like what we're supposed to be doing, is recycling. And so my thought was that would be less that we're dependent on underpaid labor in other countries, but people just got so mad. And then there was the group of people who were all sorts of, that's gross that you take anything home from a thrift store, and that's gross that you use thrift store stuff. I could never, and it's like, not all of us are germaphobes. I didn't realize it would be so controversial that that I was using thrift store yarn, or that I was pulling apart something that was donated to a thrift store. But I will definitely say that once you give something, or something is given to a thrift store, the original owner or any other owner prior to that has no say in what happens with it. You didn't want it. It wasn't precious enough for you to keep it. Therefore, its only value is in what someone else is going to pay for it, and what they're going to do with it, because it is theirs now, and not the thrift store, or not yours. Period. But anyways, now I will get off my high horse, and I will work on the neon blanket. God, I kind of wish I had more of this, because I'm realizing that I'm not going to have a ton to make these. They're great little swirls, right? Just wanted to take a quick program break to show you what I have done with some of the other bits of yarn. One of them you've seen before, the other two you haven't, but the thrifting, I have spent maybe $20, $25 on this yarn that is basically been 3 sweaters, and it'll be a blanket, and hopefully I'll be done with it by then, and I'm not picking up anymore. So yeah, this is sweater number 1, Granny Squares, and it's got both the orange and the teal. I also had found some green and purple that really matched the neon stripes, and I was going to do inset Granny Squares on that here, but there's so much space between the stripes that it's like it wouldn't go as well. But I did have to do some piecing in there, and I really like those. And I think I'm going to have to, I have a little side in there. I think I'm going to have to bring those closer, because otherwise it does hang off the back. Although I'm seeing that the kids are just wearing them like this anyways. So there's sweater number 1 out of the neon yarn. Okay, this is sweater number 2 out of the neon yarn. If you've seen a video prior, this sweater was featured in it. And I really like this one. It's going to be so comfy. I'm going to put like a turtleneck on it and wear it out. I call it my 80s ski sweater, even though it doesn't look like an 80s ski sweater, but it has that feeling of it. And then there's the third sweater. This was the neon stripes. I was trying to do a pooling thing with it and it didn't quite work, but I love this sweater anyways. And funny enough, I found a pooling video where a person had pooled with this exact thing and it looked amazing, and I wish I could have figured it out, but I couldn't. But instead we have, oh, my lamp, a batwing sweater, which I love. I do love that it's black and then stripy, and it's a good length, and I really like it. And this is today's outfit. Okay, it is several hours later, and I have 1, 2, 3 finished of the neon stripes. So essentially 1.5 things worth. I also have 2 more neon stripes, just the hexagon, and a little bit more of this orange. I'll try and figure out how to incorporate this into yet another flower. So that gives me 5 flowers total done. I think I'm gonna try and work on this again tomorrow night, essentially tomorrow night. Who knows how much I'll be able to get done. But it was kind of fun to play with this for a little bit of mindlessness, a little bit of lack of planning ahead, and having to revise 50 million things and reverse engineering. Thank goodness, this was easy. So I've done a little bit of gardening, and I think it's time for me just to go lay down and zone out. Maybe grab myself a sweet treat first. Oh, hello everybody. Day 2 of working on the neon flowers. My goal today is to make it all the way through the black light, right? This is black light, right? Yeah, the black light yarn. So I'm going to pull this one apart. We'll see how many controversies that causes. And we're going to start it a little bit, just at least finish the flowers. I just want to use up this yarn possibly tonight if I can. And then we'll see if I need to keep an eye out for more variegated neon stuff rather than regular neon, the regular solids that are going to go in between. I have no idea. We'll figure it out along the way. And then it's going to go back into the bag. Sorry, I'm very distracted. Back into the bag, and then so I'm not sure what this person did. There's like bits and pieces all over the place, right? I can't quite tell. Oh well. But it has gone from toasty warm, so much so that I was wondering how I could rip my skin off my body just to cool down, to I'm in a sweatshirt. I made myself a cup of tea. I've got my fuzzy socks on. So I think now soon is going to be the time to repair some of my ragwool socks. So I think that's going to be next. But I'm just going to deconstruct this so I don't have to mess with it for this huge thing for a while. So I'm going to say I have a total of about 3 skeins of the blacklight to work through. And I think that's going to be a lot of flowers. Okay, I'll try to hold this relatively steady. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on here. I guess you can see a little bit. So for the black lights, I've got 3 different dye lots here, and I am finding the variation in the dye lots amazing. So this is the original one that I had, and the black is the dark is kind of a charcoal. There's a relatively clear transition between the colors, and the colors themselves are super bright. And they do go in a particular order. So you get a good mishmash of all the colors, right? Then there's this one, and you can see in the middle that almost no blue showed up for a while. So it went like green, orange, yellow, green type of thing. So not quite so much pink or blue in the middle. And then also here on a lot of the oranges, there's this, but not on all of them, there's this red piece. And it's like, was this supposed to be the pink? I don't know. And then look how muddy the colors are. The black totally bled into everything, and the colors are just absolutely muddy. So like if you were to try and do plan pooling, you'd want one like this, but not one like this, because this one definitely goes in order. But then I have my third dye lot here, which has the darker black like this muddy one does, but doesn't have the muddy colors and is more like this. So it's a combination between the two. And I find that really frustrating. Like for my particular purpose here, it's not frustrating because I'm basically making a scrap blanket out of thrift yarn finds. But if I had picked up, I think it was like a 6 or 7, maybe even an 8-pack of this one, and I had like these 3 different dye lots, I'd be super frustrated because then I wouldn't be able to really make the sweater that I wanted to. And this one and this one were both from the same second thrift find, which is like, maybe that's why they stopped making their afghan. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't that person. But the difference between these two, considering they stopped when they got to this one, was phenomenal. So anyways, I think that's a good thing about like making sure you're purchasing from the same dye lots. Who knows, maybe these were released at different times, like different years. So who the heck knows? But yeah, always make sure to buy enough of one dye lot to complete your project, because you never know what you're going to get at another time. Do you know how hard it is to find an angle that I can show something this big? It is ridiculously difficult, like way over there, especially when I don't have overhead lighting. um, and this is going to be in really dark shadow. I have like all the lights on and all the curtains on. Of course, it's a cloudy fall day. Yes, I might be wearing the same shirt I was wearing the other day. Don't judge me, please. But anyways, okay. This might be a little anticlimactic because I think it's going to be put away for a little bit. If I work on it this weekend, I'll, record the progress. So I need to make, it looks like, one more neon flower. And then I'm going to need to do centers in 2 of them. It takes me about 12 minutes per hexagon, right? And then we're going to do, oh, I shouldn't show my feet for free. These colors like in between. I'm hoping I have enough neon for all the in between. And then I'm going to do these in the center diamond. Here is what it's gonna, no, that's not gonna work. I'll have to edit that out. But I'm gonna put on the screen the idea of it, of the template layout. And I put my tape measure down, and it's going to be roughly 60 inches wide, and that's before any trim. So of course 60 inches long because it's going to be a 3x3. But then I'm going to add some more Hexis to the edges to see, because I'm going to try and use up as much yarn as possible. So anything that was black on that, I'll put it up again. But anything that is black on this is going to be essentially the neon variegated, and then anything that's yellow on there is just going to be random neon, right? And then we'll just trim it up with whatever we have left over. I might just do the black. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I know it's a little anticlimactic, not having something done. But it's been many hours, and this is just going to take a long time. So I think it's time to move forward and work on something that might be a little bit more challenging.